because when I was a little kid, I mean, it was all about building all the models and everything like this. And thanks to my dad saving some of the headlines, this was from the Detroit Free Press the day after man walks on the moon. And there's Neil Armstrong's first words. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. But because it was voice activated, the microphones, it cut off the A for a man. Yes. However, I will still contend that the first words spoken from the moon were contact light when they first touched it, and all stop. And then they said Houston Tranquility Base. And then this was Life magazine from the August edition. And
so cool.
who remembers Look magazine? That was kind of the competitor to Life back then, but they all had, and all the different, I mean, this was all dedicated
to... You
to
have to get those custom framed.
I know. They're in a
airtight...
in a safe box in the garage right now.
Oh, no, you gotta get that custom framed. All right, well, Adeina sent us one more family moon craft, so we're gonna see if we can tackle it on our own. We are making moon rocks, okay? And you can see kind of the finished product right here. And that it does look really, really cool. It does. Right? Okay. So the first thing we're gonna start with is some baking soda.
Okay.
All right.
And while you're doing that, did you know the moon is actually like black as coal, basically? Because when the astronauts would get back into the LEM, and they looked like coal miners, they had all this black dust on them, but it's very reflective. So, all right, name the third. So it was Armstrong and Aldrin stepped on the moon. Who was the third astronaut that stayed?
Oh, he stayed behind.
Stayed behind.
In the lunar module.
In the command module.
Or the command module. Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and Michael
Collins.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. I didn't know this one, that when they returned, they had to fill out customs forms to say what they brought back with them. So, what do you declare?
Are you
Moon
declare
rocks?
something? Yeah.
Really? Because I know with Apollo 13, Jack Swigert he forgot to do his taxes, and the president gave him a pass on that and said, "Oops, forgot to do my taxes there." The first song played was.
Oh, Fly Me to the Moon.
Yep.
I would think. Is it?
Uh-huh. And the astronauts could not get insurance. Because once you're being an astronaut, because I guess the odds of things going wrong are not great, so they couldn't get insurance, so they left behind autographs that their family could sell if something perhaps happened.
Oh my gosh.
So, Okay. And they stayed in quarantine. We're kind of jumping ahead, but they had to get in there because they didn't know what maybe there were bacteria on the moon that would come back.
Right.
How long did they stay in quarantine? It was this kind of a modified trailer type thing.
The COVID quarantine's what, about 2 weeks? I would think for the moon, maybe longer. So
1 day, 3 days, 1 week, 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Ah! Okay. Yeah, I got that right. That was a total guess.
Oh, look at you over there.
Yeah, so we started with the baking soda, right? Then I added some gold glitter, some silver glitter, some food coloring, and I've just been mixing it up here, and you can see it's starting to look exactly like the moon rocks we have in front of us. Okay, and then you're just gonna roll them into a ball. Can you see that?
Okay, and depending on the consistency, you might need a little more water on there, so. Okay. Did you know when they got back in, Armstrong and Aldrin got back into the LEM and they had a rest period, and I believe it was Aldrin laid down on the floor and said, "Oh, what's this little thing?" Somebody had bumped the switch and broke the switch that allowed them to blast back off, that armed it, and they had to take a pen and stick it in there for the circuit breaker.
Oh my gosh, that's too much pressure. I can't. I just got anxious.
Make it 240,000 miles.
Just thinking about that situation.
And use a ballpoint pen and go, "Okay, let's go." So
that's something that would happen to me. Like, oh, you're kidding, right?
Anyway.
All right. For more information on Adeina Anderson, just head to our website, salive.com, and click on the As Seen on SA Live tab.
And Fiona has moon rocks.
Yay!
Yay! So see how much you can get on eBay for those things.